How does a man be just friends with an attractive woman without having intrusive thoughts? There are zero problems with thoughts. Everyone can think as much as they like, just don't turn it into words and actions. You just don't act on those thoughts. By treating her like any other person. I have been friends with a couple of head turners, and honestly you just kind of get used to it. There's a friend of mine who is married to a literal model. Hannah is cool as shit and is a really interesting person who is also super attractive. After a while I just kind of got used to her being around. We have a couple of inside jokes and she runs a great wing girl for me. One of my closest friends is an exceedingly attractive woman with a fantastic personality and outlook on life, but we've been friends for so long I have no physical attraction to her. My brain views her as family. Homie, you can think about how hot your friend is, but if you act like a creep it's a problem. Behavior is different than just thoughts. I had a male best friend for over 20 years. Took me that long to realize there was more on the other side. If you have ever learned to meditate, accept it as a passing thought. Acknowledge it. Set it aside and move on. It gets better, I hear. I am a single straight guy and have a few good friends with hot wives. One in particular I get along with really well, but he gets annoyed when I talk to her much. I totally understand where he is coming from, but I would never betray a friend like that. Yes, I like to have sex with women, but I am also very capable of switching that off. A good friend's wife becomes like a sister, clearly off limits. Knowing a woman isn't into me is enough for me to not see her as a potential romantic interest. I was stupid back when I was young and didn't know any better. But as I grew older, I realized that it's actually really nice to have female friends as a guy. Thoughts are fine, actions are not. Do you think bi people have no friends? It's pretty easy, you just think of her as a person. Damn, a lot of commenters are down so bad, haha. I think a big part comes down to what draws you to them as a friend initially. If you become friends with a woman because you think they're attractive, then that will always be there. If you become friends with them for something else, then it's easy. I have more girl friends than guy friends at this point, but I met most of them after already being with my wife, so the friendship was never built on that. Your first thought does not define who you are, the second one does. Meaning, if you have an intrusive thought, you either entertain it or you dismiss it. Remember that we're people first, sex objects second. If you're having tons of intrusive thoughts, you've likely dehumanized women a bit in your mind. Dunno, how about women with hot guys as friends? What an absurd question. Self-control. Maybe you watch too much porn and can't not sexualize and objectify women. If a man or woman is attractive, that's great, but so what? What does that mean to you? They're attractive and what? If you can't see a woman as anything other than a thing that men have sex with, that's a problem. Everyone thoughts doesn't mean you have to act on them. I've thoughts about how I could rule the world, but haven't followed through yet. Not possible, but there's nothing wrong with thoughts. I'm friends with many beautiful women. I also work at a strip club and have become friends with many of the girls there. Do I have intrusive thoughts when they are on stage? Of course. Do I act on them? Absolutely not. Also, men aren't the only ones with intrusive thoughts either. Working with strippers has taught me that women are just as perverted as men, so don't think men are the only ones guilty of being perverted. With that being said, it is possible for a guy to have a friendship with women, beautiful or not. I hate seeing people say a man, or even a woman, cannot be friends with the opposite sex. That to me is a red flag and shows that person does not trust you if you are friends with the opposite sex.